the world thinks that there's two choices. You're going to give in to him, give him everything he wants, calm him down, have peace at home, or no, that's not good for him. Put down rules, consequences, and boundaries. But they don't stick around for the people who tried that, and the result is there's World War III in the house, and the kid is on fire, beating up the other kids, physically, emotionally, other ways. Every Shabbos meal ends up in a fight. Everything's in a fight. Mommy and daddy are fighting all the time. Daddy's angry all the time. Mommy's crying all the time. You can't live like that. And the other kids are growing up in that atmosphere. It's an atmosphere. Get it? In case it wasn't clear. It's an atmosphere of fear. You see what I did there? Yeah. And they think like, oh, so then he'll leave. So then throw him out. First of all, it's not the right thing. Second of all, you cannot just throw him out. They come back home. He's 15 years old. And they come knocking back in, and they call crying, you call Shalom, you call Hatzalah. If there was an actual delete button, and somebody says that to save the other kids, going through all of this, you delete him, I disagree with it. I think it's unnecessary. I think we're successful, but I understand it. The problem is with the other side is that there's no delete button. So you aggravate him, and now your house is on fire. You cannot function. The kids end up failing. They don't sleep at night. They end up with anxiety. They end up having these anger stuff. They lose respect for mom and dad. First of all, because can't you control your house? What kind of parents are you, right? And why can't you control him? Punish him all the time. And what are you supposed to do? Get into a fist fight with him and tie him down, right? Or if you don't punish him, why aren't you punishing him? Why are you letting him get away with everything? He's ruining our whole house. And all you parents went through that. So if there was a delete button that just instantly gone, Control, Alt, Delete, Z, B, whatever, again, I don't agree with that, but I understand that. But the psychotic idea that you can be tough on a kid who's in rebel mode and who's struggling is not understanding the reality that there's no delete button. So you end up by having an angry kid who comes down the stairs at 4 p.m. when he wakes up, no food in here, cursing, and you say, again, please don't curse in this house. Please stop cursing in the house. And all the other kids, they heard the cursing, they know the cursing, and they see mommy crying all the time. They hate you, they hate him. We had a kid who was leaving the house, not sneastic, and the father said, you're not leaving the house this way. Father's a Rosh Koil, and you're not leaving the house dressed like this. He stopped her physically. She slugged him. He threw her on the ground, was on the steps, and mommy came running in, and mommy held her hands, and daddy's holding her legs, and she's kicking and screaming, cursing them to death. Okay? I hope you die with all the words. And on top of the stairs, because they were blocking, were the older siblings cursing her. You're cursing mommy and daddy, you should die, and you're going to die. They called a TP parent who knew them, and he came into the house, and he called me to tell me this. He said, I walked into Bosnia. I walked into a war zone. I walked into Ukraine in 2022. I walked into a war zone. This is happening. The father's holding the thing, cursing, screaming. She's kicking. He got kicked in the face. The other kids are cursing her, and from the bottom is a little kid who opened up the door, the door to in the kitchen. What's this door called on the bottom? To get stuff. It's called a door. A what? Cabinet. A cabinet door. And standing behind it with the eyes peering out, with tears rolling down, Bosnia, World War III, going on in the house. And what's going to happen the next day? You can't delete her. She's a little kid. So you have an enemy living in your house for years who then is lahachis. See what we do here in TP? There's no lahachis. We kill the lahachas. Nobody's doing anything on purpose to hurt you. He's not going to do, yes, they're dysfunctional. Yes, they're not religious. But you take away that whole section of doing it to burn the house down. You think I'm bad? I'll corrupt every single kid. And these are the sweetest, nicest kids and so sensitive. And they hurt so bad. You think I'm bad? So they'll leave porn magazines out, or magazines, I'm dating myself, computer, they'll leave the computer on, and they'll come down with the phone, and they'll annoy you. And now you're in a war. And you can't be in a war with a teenager. You will lose because you have a life and they don't. They have nothing to lose. Again, you came down without an undershirt. Again, you came down to think, I told you not to put your phone out. And all of a sudden at the Shabbos table, the phone is ringing and the thing is ringing. And what's your only response? You're trapped. You're einus. What's your response? Anger. So now the kids, instead of having peace and having one half-naked kid at the Shabbos table on the phone that everybody understands, nebuch for him, and life goes on and we're fine. Instead, destruction. Fighting, screaming. You've been through this. You can't raise children that way. We had a family that told me their oldest kid was 16 years old. It was a Syrian family, very religious Syrian family. All the other kids, 7 younger kids, were failing school because of what was going on in the house. The kindergarten teacher called the mother up and said, is something going on at home? Because your daughter is stealing in kindergarten stuff, nash and stuff from other briefcases of the other kids. So smart teacher. So I said, you're not in trouble, come and talk to me. And I spoke to her and I said, what's going on at home? And I gave her a candy and she said, Mommy's always crying, Daddy's always angry. Kindergarten. So she's taking nash and she's acting out. And all the kids, because they don't sleep at night, they're fighting, they're screaming, and Mommy, Daddy, all they talk about is the kipp. All they talk about is shomrim being called there, and they don't know when the next explosion is going to come, and they don't know when the ambulance is going to come, or where they're going to take their kid. So the advice, call 911. I don't understand these short-sighted people. Don't they ever do this? Don't they know the end of the story 2 days later or 4 weeks later? It doesn't matter. The kid is more angry and is released and comes home. And now you're your biggest enemies. And then whatever they were doing, you tell them if you pull a knife, right, then you're going to go straight to the psych ward. Our kids don't pull knives. De-escalate the situation so they don't want to pull a knife. Don't just say, if you're going to pull a knife, then you're going to, we do what we do. Our kids aren't pulling knives. You cop what I'm saying?